AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It's a special prime time edition of the NFL on EA Sports. Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys taking on Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, the roof is closed, but as you can probably tell, the mouths of these Cowboy fans could not be more wide open. It is a frenzied AT&T Stadium in Arlington. A moment ago, here was the scene with the Cowboys emerging from their tunnel. It was loud. It's still loud. We're ready for football as the Cowboys get set to match up with Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. And he won't quite make it to the 25.
First and 10.
Out now comes Russell Wilson in season number 9, six-time Pro Bowler, as he gets set to lead this Seahawks offense.
Whenever you think about the Seattle Seahawks, one of the first things that pops to mind is how well they run the football and how much they like doing it. But you have to also look at how well Russell Wilson has played at the quarterback spot. Hasn't just been a game manager. Last year, over 4,100 yards passing, the second most in his career. 31 touchdown passes and took care of the ball as well because he threw just 5 interceptions. If you need to open things up, Russell Wilson can get it done.
And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick first down.
And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the first down.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Here's Wilson. Steps away to his left. He's going to take off with it. He's got the first down and more past midfield. And finally taken down at the 34. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a first down.
You know, I don't think this is the last time we'll see that in this game. This guy has mobility, and they want to use his legs in the game plan. So there will be designed runs as well as his scrambles.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Now it's Wilson. Flush to his right. He's going to take off with it. He'll get 3 yards on the scramble there at 2nd down.
He was able to get away earlier in the drive, but apparently all the time they put in practice finally came to the front, didn't it? They remembered their lessons and found a way to contain him when he took off on that one.
Side, a completion to his tight end, and he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. On 1st and 10, it's Wilson, escaping the pressure right. He's got the first down inside the 10, and down to the 7-yard line. The escapability in evidence there is that one good for 15 and a first.
Partner, as a quarterback, sometimes you just got to know when the clock has gone off in your head, it's time to go. Tuck it and get all you can.
So 1st and goal now from the 7-yard line. To throw is Wilson, eluding the pressure right. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down.
So many times we talk about having good eye discipline when you're playing defense, making sure your eyes are in the proper place on a given play. Looks like that discipline came to the front there, didn't it? They were able to hold him for a short game when he took off running.
And he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. All that gets him is just a yard, and now it's 3rd down. A big play forthcoming. Here's 3rd and goal. And It's a Seattle Seahawks touchdown.
Touchdown, Seattle.
But there's a sight that fans were used to seeing a little bit more earlier in his career. Just 3 rushing touchdowns last year for Russell Wilson. He's had as many as 6 in a season. I think he's a lot more selective, a little more judicious about running the football now, but still scares the heck out of any defense when he decides to tuck it and go.
Jason Myers now for the extra point. And this will give the Seahawks a 7-0 lead. So that drive goes 8 plays. And it was Russell Wilson finishing things off with a touchdown run.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. This is Tony Pollard. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28. Now we'll see what the right arm of Dak Prescott has in store as the Dallas Cowboys offense sets up shop.
You hear so many discussions about Dak Prescott. Is he one of the top quarterbacks in the league? Is he still ascending? What does he need to do to get there? All I know is that when he's in control of the Dallas offense, they were #1 in the league last year in terms of yards per play, and he was 2nd in the league in passing yards with over 4,900. This guy gets it done, and his team really likes him as their leader.
Now the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott. And he'll run straight into a wall of tacklers at the line of scrimmage. It's 2nd down.
A quick observation, Brandon, because early on in this game, I'm seeing linebackers playing with their noses close to the line of scrimmage.
And my guess is the wheels are turning on that other sideline. As a play caller, you're filing that away right now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're trying to find that opportunity later on when you can play action him or stick something to him between the 2nd and the 3rd level.
And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And he's going to go down. Back near midfield at the 49. L.J. Collier. He's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9.
I know there'll be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and ended up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make. You feel like you've got momentum on your side.
Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Out of the gun, here's Prescott. He'll find Lamb, that's complete. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
It'll be a nickel look here for the Seahawks on 3rd down. Prescott from the gun. And he's unable to haul it in, so it falls incomplete over the middle 3rd of the field, and that brings up 4th.
Chris Jones.
Maybe just a lack of concentration there as he couldn't haul it in.
And when you're going across the middle like that, you know, he's running that drag route, you are conscious of all the bodies and the traffic in there. But let's face it, if you're going there, you might as well come down with the football and absorb whatever else happens after that.
1st and 10.
The Seattle Seahawks 3-0 to start 2020. It wasn't easy in week 3. It was entertaining. 38-31. They found a way to get the win over Dak and the Dallas Cowboys. But Russell Wilson, who has famously never gotten so much as an MVP vote, I think he's going to get some if he keeps this up. 5 touchdown passes week 2 against New England. 5 more touchdown passes against the Cowboys. Make it, Charles, 14 now on the year. And actually, Denny Deere, one of our producers, is telling me in my ear that that's more than anyone has ever thrown through 3 games in NFL history.
Yeah, and that MVP discussion was a huge topic in the offseason, wasn't it? How could Russell Wilson never get a vote? Well, the way the voting is kind of an all or nothing thing. You know, it's not like one of those graduated scales with so many points for each vote. But the bottom line is it became a crusade, didn't it? Russell Wilson, how could he not win an MVP? But the best part is he's actually earning it. You just mentioned it. 5 touchdown passes against New England. 5 more against the Dallas Cowboys. Back-to-back tough games at home that they found a way to win, largely because of Russell Wilson's efforts. This Seahawks team, you better keep an eye on them. Now they go to Miami. Could that be an upset special? Then they're home for Minnesota before they have the early open week 6. How about a guy proving his worth in different ways? Had the big play in the run game to play before. This time, they go right back to him in the passing game, and he comes through with yet another big play. That's why you work out so hard in the offseason, so you can stay on the field and accumulate big plays.
So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. Again, Wilson. That's complete into the hands of Carson. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. That one unable to develop, never got going. A loss of a couple, and it's 2nd down. 2nd and 12 after the first down pass play went backwards for 2 yards. Throwing again here, Wilson. He lets it fly from, that's caught inside the 20. And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys 18. A gain of 28 yards there and give them a first down. So 5 plays on this drive, Charles. All passes, all completions. And just like that, they're in the red zone.
And don't you think the playbook opens up a little bit more now? Because all they've done is throw the football. If you want to run it now, you may very well have them fooled.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. This one into the hands of Metcalf. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. 10 more there and another first down.
What a great rookie campaign in 2019 for DK Metcalf, who came in with high expectations, was actually upset that he went in the 2nd round, not the 1st round, but quickly proved everyone wrong who didn't take him prior. 900 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns, and looks exactly like...
And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. Russell Wilson on target to DK Metcalf. And the Seahawks add on to their lead.
There's not much that's perfect in football, but that's about as close to it as you're going to get. Score, force a punt, score again.
And both drives were impressive. The opening drive was, that last one was. Now on the other side, though, what's your psyche? You're really behind the 8 ball.
You got to make sure to just hold in there. Survive the early storm, relax a little bit, and try and get back to your game plan. It's way too early for panic.
Myers connects on the PAT, and that'll make the score 14-0.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. Now Pollard. And takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26.
Over 1st and 10. At their own 26-yard line.
The Dallas Cowboys, Charles, boy, they have been nothing if not entertaining in 2020. Some wild games early. Another one in Week 3 at Seattle. The bottom line, they fall to 1-2 on the year after a 38-31 defeat at the hands of the Seahawks. But Dak Prescott continues to throw the ball all over the yard, make it 922 yards passing in the last 2 weeks. The 450 against the Falcons in that come-from-behind win. He threw another 472 against the Seahawks. Just the 2nd guy to throw for over 450 in back-to-back games. The other was Jameis Winston.
And can you believe he's putting up those kind of numbers? Because don't we think of Dallas as being led by Ezekiel Elliott in the running game? They've struggled to have consistency there, and the offensive line is not what it was a couple of seasons ago. They've got some guys filling in for some injured players right now. So Dak, they're relying on his right arm. Fortunately for the Cowboys, this schedule has been kind of wild in the beginning. It settles down a little bit. 3 home games coming up to start the month of October. Cleveland, the Giants, and Arizona. They've got a chance to get right in those 3 games.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Now Prescott over the middle, and it's incomplete. Amari Cooper, his intended receiver, and now it's 3rd down. And that one going to be off target and incomplete. The threat of a 2nd straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10. And 3rd down, throw incomplete as well.
Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone. And there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
Returning it is Moore. So a good punt, but a solid 12-yard return. And it'll be Seahawk football 1st and 10. Russell Wilson now gears up to lead the offense again. A big reason why they've been so successful, this defense hasn't been able to contain him when he gets outside of the pocket.
So true, and that's when it's really difficult because defensively you can have a game plan and trying to account for all the things you've seen on tape, the way that they run their plays, even his running. But when it's a play where you just can't really say, okay, that's how the play's supposed to go, what they call broken plays, that's when the X and O doesn't work. That's when their Jimmy is better than your Joe.
Wilson and the Seahawks take over now 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. A throw left side to start the drive is complete. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down.
It's a gain of 9.
Looked like the screen pass was taken away there, but what a nice job improvising, finding other options, and completing the pass anyway.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Wilson. He'll find Metcalf. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40.
Good catch there by DK Metcalf, and when he came into the league, we were all impressed by his physical attributes. Looked like he was chiseled out of stone. This guy's...
And the Cowboys' pressure gets there this time for the sack. The tank, DeMarcus Lawrence with a sack. So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on 2nd down. Here's Wilson. And the pressure gets to him again. The sack there by Tyrone Crawford shooting in to make the play. Wilson and the Seahawks looking for something big following the sack. It's 3rd and long here. And that one drops incomplete as he got popped as he was throwing it.
That might be the 3rd down stop that they needed because they've had a lot of trouble slowing down this offense in the 1st half. This might be their opportunity to get off the field.
It's away, and it's a high kick here, but not high enough to hit the scoreboard here in Dallas.
Receiving team. Can't do that.
So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Prescott to throw it. Got an open man. It's Michael Gallup. And he'll be out of bounds right around the 20. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on 1st quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger game. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
On 3rd down, it's Prescott. And he's able to hook up with Michael Gallup. And he is down deep into Seattle territory. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. We know he's good at catching the football, but then after the catch, he's got escapability.
Not only that, he's got some toughness as well, because you know he's coached very hard to make sure he battles through, breaks tackles, and then they finish with, but don't fumble the football.
So not quite a 1st and goal. It's 1st and 10 from the 10. A first down throw for Prescott. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down. They'll go again here from the 10-yard line on 2nd and goal.
2nd and goal.
They'll give to Elliott. And a nice pickup there. He gets about 5 down to the 4-yard line. Defensively, I think they can smell a stop. Ball right around the 5 here, brings up 3rd.
And I think what they've done is they put doubt in the minds of the offensive guys. What do we do? Because now you don't have a go-to play. Either side they...
That is caught. It's Cooper for the Cowboy touchdown. 4 yards on the touchdown grab. And the Cowboys have cut it to within a score. That's why you've got your star out there. Throw the ball to him. They did.
That's simply saying we don't care what coverage you put out there. He's so good. We're going there with the football anyway, and there's not a thing you can do about it.
Inside the red zone, they go to him. He gets it done. Now Greg Zuerlein on for the extra point. Makes it 14-7. A drive that time of 6 plays. And it's capped off for the Cowboys touchdown. Now after the touchdown, it's Zuerlein. He'll kick it away. Taking it about the 1. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line.
At their own 28-yard line.
The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. They've got the lead. Last time had to punt it, though. What's the key to this drive?
I think it's leverage.
Leverage.
Big guys up front. You know the motivational speech on the sideline is, guys, give us an opportunity. Protect the passer, create space for our runners, and let's go ahead and give these guys. Low man wins. Let's go do it on this drive.
We'll watch that leverage on this drive. Flush to his right. He'll try and run it. Defenders giving chase, but I don't think they're going to get there.
Oh, we got plenty of fight.
And touchdown, Seattle. Russell Wilson with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Seahawks get the quick strike touchdown.
Well, that is certainly a deflator right there defensively. Their guys just came off of a touchdown drive. They're back in the game, and then bam, they give up a touchdown 1 play later. How about that?
And the momentum, which seemingly had shifted the other direction, thought we might be seeing a comeback. That momentum right back the other way.
Well, that is certainly not complimentary football that we saw right there. The defense is supposed to help their offense, not give up another touchdown.
Extra point up and through by Myers. And it's now 21-7.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. Now Pollard. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line.
Cowboys take over 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
Now Dallas gets set to take the field. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2-minute. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 27. Well, they have a first down and more. Throw left side complete. That's Elliott. And brought down across the 50 to the 49-yard line. The catch and run, good for 24 yards.
But one of the ways the quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
Play action to Elliott. Here's Prescott. Going to take a shot for Gallup. This is taken in at the 5. And he takes it down deep into enemy territory. A big play here for Dallas. 45 yards. Well, make that now 2 completions for him on this drive, and these aren't ordinary completions. They're big ones.
Yeah, these are the types that make a secondary talk to each other and not in a good way. Oftentimes pointing fingers. Hey, who's got him? Someone cover it. That type of indecision can open up to even more big plays.
First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. Now Elliott. And he will take it in for a Cowboy score. Taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Cowboys draw a bit closer. Cowboys. Nice job of polishing off that drive, but all the credit there goes to that play prior.
Yeah, it certainly does, because after that big play, I think resistance almost felt futile at that point, didn't it? And the very next play, they come right back, quick, fast, and in a hurry, and put it in the end zone.
Now Zerline on and the extra point. It's up and good. This becomes a 21-14 ball game now. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it culminates in a touchdown run by Ezekiel Elliott. Now after the touchdown, it's Zerline. He'll kick it away. Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. And they hit the home run last drive. 1 play on the ground all the way to the house. Now the defense, maybe they're expecting a run here.
Partner, I love your description, because when we talk about hitting the home run, we're usually thinking about a passing play, aren't we? Something in the air, deep ball. But how about them just taking it big-time jaunt? Now if you're coming back out, now they've established this run.
And he will go down. A Cowboys sack. DeMarcus Lawrence able to drop in that time for his 2nd sack of the evening. And that is the 3rd sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Man, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game, I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. And I guess, Charles, sometimes when you have a receiver well over 6 foot, you do that. Just put it up there, let him grab it, and he did.
And it certainly appears like a 50-50 ball, right? We always talk about that when both sides have a chance to get it, the receiver or the guy covering him. But I think the odds actually are in favor of the offense. They can see the ball coming oftentimes before the defender can get his head around. So I think that really goes to like 70-30, and they should be able to go up and get it most of the time.
And he got it there. Wilson after the play fake to Carson. Escaping the pressure right. And he's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of this first quarter. Seahawk football here to start quarter number 2 as they've got it with a 2nd and 4 coming up. Second down at 4. They go play action now. Wilson. Here's Carson with a catch out of the backfield.
Complete.
That might feel like a little bit of a lost opportunity there for the offense because the defense brought pressure that time. And sometimes against that, you can get out to your running back, and it could turn into a big gain downfield. But what a nice job they did getting to him quickly and holding him to a short gain.
Forced out to his left. And it falls incomplete after almost being intercepted. The pick there would have been great. The good news for the defense now, it's 4th down. And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. Not good at all. Punted just 24 yards there. And the Cowboys will take over the football with a 1st and 10. Zeke and the Cowboys ready to begin their next drive. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call in the West Coast offense, the long handoff?
Yeah.
Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. Michael Gallup, that's who he was looking for, and it's 3rd and short. The Cowboys on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. And he picks up the first before he's taken down at the 29. 3 yards there, good enough to keep the drive moving.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? They looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to him. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you ought to have a few men in the box there.
7 yards, the pickup there.
And that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on 1st down, hitting the tight end there. Now brings up a 2nd and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. Able to get 7 on that 1st down pass play. 2nd and 3. Prescott now. Got his man there, complete to Gallup. And all the way down to the 22-yard line. It's a big play for the Cowboys on 3rd. 42 yards. What a game it's been for this duo.
They remind me of a good comedy team. They know how to play off of each other so well. No matter how one riffs, the other's right there to pick them up, and they are shredding them in this ball game.
So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Here's Prescott. And incomplete, a drop there in the middle 3rd of the field. That'll bring up 2nd down. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. They'll throw again. Prescott to the sideline, and it's caught, but boy, he's out of bounds. Now, they tried to get him into space coming out of the backfield, but it'll be 3rd down. This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. Prescott yet again. Just what Seattle was hoping for. The coverage holds, and now 4th down.
He certainly had a good game throwing the ball so far, but I think he was trying to take that from good to great with that throw and trying to get one downfield.
And Zerline's kick is good. And that'll bring him back within 4.
Seahawks 21, Cowboys 17.
So the scoring drive encompasses 9 plays, and the net result, 3 points.
Take your disappointment and put it aside. 9 plays. Yeah, they want to end up in the end zone with a touchdown. I get that. But sometimes those 9-play drives pay dividends later with another 9-play drive that culminates in a touchdown when they wear down a defense.
Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. Now increase here as he's past the 30. A solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32.
At their own 32-yard line.
Here's Russell Wilson and the Seahawk offense now getting set to go again. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of it. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes. But right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter. And he's got his man out of the backfield. That's complete.
To Chris Carson.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
Now this one over the middle into the hands of his tight end, complete. It's a first down on a gain of 10.
Gain of 10.
Greg Olsen was a big-time pickup for the Seattle Seahawks in the offseason. Spent the last 9 seasons with Carolina as an all-pro, Pro Bowl tight end, and did the same thing before that with the Chicago Bears. Now he moves to the Northwest and gives Russell Wilson a big-time target in the middle of the field.
Complete to Chris Carson.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
From the 47, it's 2nd and 5. To throw again is Wilson. Looking left side, he's got a man. It's Carson. And he'll go down shy of the 40 at the 41. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down.
But they certainly made a point of getting him involved in the passing game here in the first half. They must have seen something in the scouting that said, hey, we can capitalize on him getting the ball possibly in the open field. I think in the second half, that may loosen up the defense a little bit to get the running game going back inside.
He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
Second and 11. Wilson. He finds his man, the tight end Olsen. And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys' 22-yard line. A gain there of 21 yards.
First down.
And with that completion, he's now north of 200 yards here in the first half. Boy, a tough start for the secondary defensively.
It is, and it's got to put a dent in their confidence. And, you know, you always want to keep that up and feel like you can always bounce back after plays. But with the kind of numbers he's putting up here, it's starting to wear on them a little bit, I think. So they're looking at each other and trying to figure out what defense will work and how can they play better without getting beat deep for big passes.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down. And this will be incomplete. That is the first time that they've targeted him that he has not come down with a catch.
He's caught everything that's been thrown his way. A dominant pass receiver that can break down any defense because when he's doing that kind of work, it really hurts you on the back end.
And even though it's an incompletion there, I think they're going back to that well. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. Here's a throw out wide, complete to his running back right side. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead.
That's a good job there by the corner. We do talk about this a lot, that a lot of corners see their job as simply covering receivers. Tackling isn't everyone's thing. But in this case, he came up quickly and made a nice, sure tackle.
And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Wilson will throw again. And they're going to get to him, a sack. Sack back at the 9-yard line. Tyrone Crawford effort. His second sack of the night.
Brandon, more often than not, you'd say they've had his number, and we can count them up so far. 1, 2, 3, 4 sacks given up. But guess what? He's still been able to make some plays, and right now they have a lead.
And he's got his favorite target yet again. It's complete. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher third down looming. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
So a dozen plays on that drive, CD, but in the end, it yields just the 3 points.
Well, they were able to keep the defense on the field for a long time, but let's be honest about it. That was about as unsatisfying a drive as you're going to get. 12 plays and you only get 3 points out of it. Not quite the ending they were looking for.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away. Now Pollard. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return.
Over first and 10 at their own 31-yard line.
The Dallas offense back out onto the field. And the points, they have come fast and furious in this quarter.
You really don't want to be on the defensive side of the ball right now, do you? Because you're either thinking, my replacement may get an opportunity.
Your head better be on a swivel.
Totally. Or maybe I just need to get out of the game for a while because I just can't slow these guys down. They've got to figure out a way to disrupt these offenses. And typically, one guy makes a big play, and that can help change things.
They'll be looking for disruption from both sides right now. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. Give them 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give them a first down.
First and 10.
But they've certainly been successful throwing it around in this game. That's allowed them to move the ball on offense. But I've got to tell you, to watch them run the football and successfully, I'm not taking sides. But to see the ball in the running back's hands, oh, that's football for me.
They keep on the ground with Elliott. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Jordan Brooks on the tackle.
Defensively, we always know that he is tough in run support, and I think the way that he gets there is he understands what an offense is going to do before the ball's even snapped. A great job of scouting prior to the game, then reading, reacting, and taking the right path to the ball carrier.
Second down, Prescott. And a heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked up by the linebacker, Bobby Wagner. And they'll take over inside the 45 at the 44-yard line.
At the 44-yard
line. Timing is everything on a route like this. He tried to drive that football into a tight spot. And if you're a little early or a little late, chances are there's going to be someone there. And sure enough, this one's going the other way.
After the interception, here's Wilson. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down.
That was nice work there defensively to force incompletion. Now, even though this drive started in plus territory, they're still not in field goal range yet. So they can work towards another couple of stops and not allowing that turnover to hurt.
A battle for it here, and this will be caught. A gain of 13. It's a first down.
13 yards.
And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician, Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this or keeps hitting the calculator. But my goodness, what a start he is off to. By the end of this game, he could have monster numbers. He just wants to continue to be accurate.
First and goal.
A good pickup there to 22.
Oh, that was a pretty route right there because it's all about finding a window on a route like that. He lined up on his left, ran the deep in route over the middle, and the ball was right where it needed to be. Really good trust between quarterback and receiver. Really good completion.
Again, Wilson. Dumps this one off to Chris Carson. And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. A good rally to the football keeps him to only a yard, and it's second down. Here's second and goal, operating from the 8-yard line. Throwing again here, Wilson. Eluding the pressure right. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. He'll end up getting 5 out of that, but now they're looking at third down.
Looked at me like they adopted what my kindergarten teacher always said. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And finally, able to hold him in check. He'd been carving him up running the ball.
That's the first time I think I've seen where the coverage was good downfield and they accounted for him and stopped him for a short pickup.
Yeah, I don't think it was a big adjustment, but much more emphasis on making sure they knew where he was when he decided to take off and go.
No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away. Now Pollard. And out a little across the 25 to the 27.
The Cowboys take over first and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field. And following the interception, we'll see what they can put together on this drive.
I can hear my old college coach right now. He always used to tell us before every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. What they're hoping is that last mistake is their only one of the game.
Coaches, that's all they talk about, turnovers, right?
Minimizing those and maximizing opportunities.
He finds an opening past the 40. They'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. 25 yards to pick up there, and also a first down.
Outside handoff to the right side. If you're a running back, you love getting the ball early so you have vision to see what's happening in front of you.
Right tackle likes that call. Big play for him, but don't forget about the guys you always tell me on the backside sealing off.
When they talk about cutoff blocks, making sure no one can leak from the backside that can run a play down.
And nobody leaked. Big play. So from Seahawk territory now, it's first and 10 at the 48-yard line. Now Elliott. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to second and 4.
Now, Brandon, that's the way you want to run the football. There should almost be quote bubbles above the offense right now. Bam, boom, biff. That's how they feel good about moving the football.
6 yards on that last play. Here's second and 4. Prescott from the gun. And he finds his target. It's Schultz. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. It's a first down on a gain of 10. First and 10, and they've got 3 tight ends out there. A jumbo package look. The give is to Elliott. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. There was no gain on the play. It'll be second down.
No gain on the play. Brings up second and 10 on the Seahawks 32-yard line.
Quick throw, and it's caught by Gallup. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
And he won't be close to a first down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the keeper, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. And for the second time tonight, this field goal unit comes out here. Made his first, this now from 42 yards out. Zerline's kick is up and through. And And this is back down to a 7-point game.
Seahawks 27, Cowboys 20.
So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
And things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front seven? As they got closer to the goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23.
At their own 23-yard line.
Seattle again getting ready to take over offensively. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
Now he's going to swing this one out to his running back. Not much there, only a yard.
In order for a screen pass to break big, a lot of things have to come together and be well executed. But all it takes is one small thing to go wrong and keep it from being a big game.
And the Cowboys pressure gets there this time for the sack. Jalen Smith leading the surge there as he drops him for a loss of 6. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. A reminder coming up here at halftime, we'll ship you off to Orlando. Jonathan Coachman will have first half highlights and analysis from a back-and-forth first half that we've seen. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts.
A gain of 19.
It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Now Wilson. They'll run the screen with Carson. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2.
Complete to Chris.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass. Looked like it was coming together. Looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
Now a pass dumped off to his running back. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50.
To Chris Carson.
Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon. And it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time they pick up a first down. So now on defense, you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going.
So it goes as a completed pass, but they lose a full 5 yards.
You know what the key to a good screen pass is, don't you?
But you're going to tell me, good blocking?
Well, good blocking eventually. But first it's good acting. You want to let the defenders go past you, leak out to whichever side or even in the middle where you want to set up the screen, and then you do your blocking. How about the read, though, by the defensive guys? They weren't fooled at all and actually ran with the lineman to where the play was and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
So they had the big loss on that first down pass play and facing a 2nd and long. Now Wilson. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. Now the Seahawks call the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Wilson to the Seahawks looking for something big following the sack. It's 3rd and long here. Now it's Wilson being chased out left. Going for Metcalf on the deep. This is caught inside the 15. And all the way down to the 10-yard line. A big play there just before halftime. 54 yards.
We see this happen so often. If you're a defender, it's like watching a bad movie over and over. The pressure is good, forcing the quarterback out of the pocket. But it's a lot to ask for these defenders to stay plastered to receivers long enough. And sure enough, they let a man come open, and the connection leads to a big play.
So we've reached halftime in a wild first half. We'll take a minute to catch our breath as we'll get you over to Orlando, where standing by is Jonathan Coachman. He has our EA Sports halftime report.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much, and welcome everyone to this abridged version of the EA Sports halftime report. We saw a strong first half out of quarterback Russell Wilson. He's over 300 yards passing already. How high can he go? To find out, let's kick it back over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, appreciate it. A one-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the second half.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
Both these offenses have been in fine form. What will the second half bring us as we are underway in quarter three? Now Pollard. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
The Cowboys take over first and 10 at their own 26.
Out come the Cowboys now as he'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They're close game, but they're going to need to do a little bit better probably here in half two, no?
I would agree with that totally. I would guess it in the locker room. They talked about cleaning up some of the errors, but overall, I think they wanted to be positive with them. Guys, we're right there. Just not playing as well as we need to. Let's pick it up, and we still have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, they do. We'll see if they can pick it up. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down.
Well, Charles, let's step aside, different topic here for a second. Unfortunately, the NFL lost a legend earlier in this first month of the 2020 season. Hall of Fame running back Gale Sayers passed away at 77. And Sayers, the youngest man ever inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, was just 34 years of age when he got that honor back in 1977.
And a big reason why? He had to retire early. He only played 7 years in the NFL. But what a run before injuries really cut his career short. In fact, he played the equivalent of 4 full seasons out of those 7 that he played because of injuries. But he was first-team All-Pro 5 times, led the league in rushing twice, and still holds the record for kickoff return average this many years after he retired. Commissioner Roger Goodell called him one of the finest men in NFL history, and I can tell you this, partner, one of the most exciting players we'll ever see.
Out now comes the Cowboys punter as he's on here to punt it away. Here's more on the return. A nice return there of 11 to help mitigate a good punt. And possession will switch hands, first and 10. DK Metcalf of the Seattle offense about set to take over once again. Good day for him so far here in the third quarter. He's hit pay dirt once, over 100 yards, but hey, it's the third quarter. He's thinking, I want more, right?
He wants more, and it just increases the confidence of his team because every play he makes, that means his quarterback is really feeling good about throwing the football. Probably feels like he can't throw an incomplete pass when he throws it to him right now.
Yeah, he's looked really sharp. Now he'll pull it down. He's got a first down and then some at midfield. And he'll take this down to the 40-yard line. 23 yards on the tuck and run.
At the 40-yard line.
But to me, this leads to the question, do you admire the way he puts his body out there all the time, or do you think he should protect himself a little bit more?
Well, he's been on the ground several times with all those sacks that he's taken. So, I don't know, I kind of admire him not sliding down there, don't you?
I'm with you on that one. The meter definitely leans towards admiration.
Wilson on first down. And that'll be incomplete. We do have a penalty flag down, however. Let's see what that's about. So they saw the contact before the ball arrived. Penalty flag for pass interference.
And trying to avoid pass interference is so difficult. You're trying to slow down these skilled receivers, and somehow, some way, they make plays on the football, and sometimes you're there too soon.
He'll buy some time right. And he's going to keep it here. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Give him 10 that time, escaping the danger, running with it, and picking up a first down.
Containing him is becoming a big problem. We've already seen this once earlier in this drive.
Yeah, and so now 2 times this has happened. Do you adjust something?
Yeah, I think you do. I think you got to start thinking about your rush lanes. Try not to either get too wide or too narrow. Make sure someone is there waiting for him to take off.
So from the 17 now, here's a first and 10.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he will score. Touchdown, Seattle.
from 17 yards out. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead.
Well, we know someone just added to his touchdown passing total, but all he did was get the ball out quickly to his tight end and let him take care of business the rest of the way.
The extra point now coming from Myers. And the lead is up to 14. Scoring summary, 3-play drive. And the Seahawks capping it off with a touchdown.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. Now Pollard. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line.
At their own 25-yard line.
Getting set to go again, we get a look at Amari Cooper as he heads back out there now. He's hoping to take what has been a good game here and make it a great game. It's so far solid, and we're still in the third quarter.
And there's nothing wrong with solid. You want to be that. You want to be reliable. You want to be a guy that puts your team in a position to have a chance to win. And that's what we're seeing from him. And there's also...
And the Seahawk defense gets to him, and they bring him down. L.J. Collier able to drop him that time for his second sack of the evening.
And that's his second sack of the game, but this player, disruptive in all phases, whether he's going upfield, coming underneath, you name it. He's a big-time guy you have to block.
Now, following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a second down and 17. Now Prescott. He's going to find Gallup here complete. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. Getting it to him in space pays off big time. That winds up going for 31.
The dynamic duo is doing damage in this one, and they've certainly been on point throughout. And they hook up again for another big play.
The big play has him all the way out near midfield for a 1st and 10. Up across midfield and down into Seattle territory.
Elliott, the ball carrier.
A gain of 3, second down.
Made at the 47-yard line. A 3-yard pickup. Brings up 2nd and 7.
On 2nd and 7, Prescott. He'll find Lamb. That's complete. And a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. Got what he needed for the first down with a gain of 2.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember the last drive, they went 3 and out.
Here's Elliott. The tackle made by Benson Mayowa.
Ball carrier.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
This a 2nd and 7 from the 37. To throw is Prescott. Got his man there complete to Gallup. And he's brought down and not before he reaches the 8-yard line. That one nearly 30 yards, 29 officially.
Press coverage on the outside, and for defenders, that's the ultimate risk-reward. If you take the risk, can you reward yourself by keeping them on the line of scrimmage? But no, not on that one. Got to step on them. Now it's just a matter of laying the ball out there for him to go get it.
1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. Prescott. That ball is caught. It's Gallup. Touchdown, Cowboys. 8 yards on the touchdown pass. And the Cowboys have cut it to within a score. And they use that height on the outside to get the score.
We've seen the evolution of the wide receivers. They've gotten taller and taller, but they've retained their quickness and their speed. It's a lethal combination.
Always good to have wide receivers with height. Zerline now for the PAT. Cut the lead down now to a touchdown. So that drive takes him down the field in 8 plays. And it culminates in a Dallas touchdown. Now after the touchdown, it's Zerline. He'll kick it away. This taken in about 4 yards deep. And this will not be returned. It'll come out to the 25.
Their own 25-yard line.
The Seahawks take back over. Pretty important third-quarter drive for them. Momentum has sort of shifted the other direction after that last touchdown as they nurse this small lead. Wilson, the Seahawks take over now 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. He's back to throw here to start the drive. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
Chris Carson.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here, and what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while, get at least 2 first downs, give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
To throw again on 2nd down. Wilson. That's complete to Disley, the tight end. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
A 5-yard gain on the play.
That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he was unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Here's Wilson. This one into the hands of Metcalf. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. It's a gain of 12, 1st down Seahawks.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. So a nice job to break the 1 tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down.
And a nice gain and a broken tackle along the way, and really we shouldn't be surprised, should we? That's what runners do, especially the best ones. They break tackles and gain extra yardage.
Throwing again on second down. Wilson, he finds his man, the tight end Olsen. And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys 35. 12 yards there and a first down.
Seahawks.
You don't always expect tight ends to be big in terms of run after the catch, but after that play, he joins a growing band of players that's putting that stereotype right on its ear.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down. Flushed out right. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. Opted to run for it. The decision a good one. Picking up the first, getting 14 yards on the scramble.
Man, defensively, that hurts. They got him out of his rhythm. They had him hemmed in, but somehow he was able to tuck it away and get away for a gain.
First down, Wilson. Very quickly here, and that's complete. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard.
It's a gain of 9.
Let's just break this down and make it pretty simple. Key to the drag route, letting the play develop, finding the hole in the defense, and giving your athlete, yes, athlete, a chance to make something happen once he has the ball in his hands.
Now the pressure gets there, and he goes down just inside the 20 at the 19.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
Eighth play of the drive forthcoming, and they need 8 yards on third down. Here's Wilson. And that's going to be incomplete. The coverage too good there. The contact popped the ball free, and it's fourth down.
Normally being a big-bodied receiver plays to their advantage downfield. Go up and make the catch, take the hit, and pick up yardage. But in this case, the hit was timed really well and popped it free from his grasp.
27.
So 3 field goals that he's hit. Now this last one helps him stretch out the lead.
He's been solid, hasn't he? And he lives up to the adage that every offensive coach has ever said to us. We want to end every possession with a kick, right? For them, it's either extra point, field goal, or at worst, a punt. In this case, it's been 3s.
And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27.
The Cowboys take over first and 10 at their own 27.
And now Dallas gets set to take the field. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really looked clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
They'll try and get the running game going with Elliott. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards.
That's a nice run right there, able to get to the outside. And so many times defenses say, okay, we've got you hemmed in. But if you're running the football, at least you know where everyone is coming from. You don't have to worry about the backside at all. That allows you to run with a little bit more confidence as you traverse down the field.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a first and 10. This is Elliott. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40.
He's tackled.
2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down.
On the pickup, it's second and 8.
From the 40 now on second down. Prescott able to hit his target land. And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks 42. That one good for a first down pickup of 18 yards.
CeeDee Lamb was my favorite receiver in this year's draft, and it's still hard for me to believe that he lasted till the 17th pick of the first round. No one took him before that, and Dallas, surprisingly, finds him available, takes him, and you see why. Great hands, great route running. This guy is Mr. Excitement.
They show run with 3 tight ends here on first down. Another carry tonight for the workhorse Elliott. And very little there. He might have gotten a yard. Yeah, I think he got a yard to the 41.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
Now we're at the 41, 2nd and 9.
Out of the gun, here's Prescott. He's going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And he's able to hook up with Michael Gallup. Now the ball comes loose, and the Seahawks have picked it up. And they will take over at the 29-yard line.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
Russell Wilson now gears up to lead the offense again. And the yardage just continues to pile up. We're still in the 3rd quarter. He's had a heck of a game.
Keep your calculator handy because these numbers are skyrocketing. Loving watching what he's doing right now because, what do we call it, in the zone?
And he will go down. A Cowboys sack.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
To try again after the sack. Wilson, and that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Now the pressure comes, and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. Aldon Smith, the former number 7 pick, gets the sack. They were trying to set up that screen, trying to get that screen to formulate. Took too long.
Ends up taking a sack, and that leads you to a couple of other questions. Number one, let's just get rid of the football near the screen guy so that you don't take an interception. But really, the big one, they just took everything away, and he was really kind of flummoxed on that play and ended up taking the sack.
The Cowboys about set to take over on offense.
And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here in this one.
Big word. I like it, though, because you're exactly right.
You like that, don't you?
All game long, they've struggled moving the ball, turning it.
He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked up near the 44. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. Both defenses have had their struggles, but they've been good enough to get them this lead, and another nice play there to help preserve the lead.
It's been a game of punch-counter-punch, hasn't it? All throughout. But this time, the big swing was taken, and it didn't land. Nice play by them on defense.
Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at their own 43. After the interception, here's Wilson. Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out, fumble. But I believe a Seahawk was able to get a handle on this, so this will remain Seattle ball.
Able to fall on it, but look where they recovered it. That's a big loss.
A lot of bad news on that play for them, wasn't there? Lost the football, lost a lot of yardage, but I think the good news outweighs it. Able to retain possession. That was big for them.
Airing it out for Wilson. Well, this is taken in. It's complete. Yeah, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
Just more of the same there, partner. Guys have just been running free in the secondary this entire game. No pass rush, a lot of passes completed. Been an easy day for them.
So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Wilson. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
Russell Wilson sacked. Fumble on the play. Recovered by the Hawks.
When that ball popped free, we could hear it all the way up here. Those guys down on the field alerting everyone of the fumble. He's lucky that his offensive mates picked him up and jumped on it.
Yeah, and you have to think to yourself, and I'm sure they've been echoing it on the sideline and into the huddle. Guys, we have the lead. Just take care of the football. Don't make it easier for them to start to make a comeback.
And he'll go down at the 28. Good yardage there on the scramble, and all of a sudden they're left with a 3rd and 2. Much more manageable.
But it brings up 3rd down.
3rd and 2, now Wilson. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36. DeMarcus Lawrence make that now 4 sacks for him in tonight's ball game.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front, nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
Result of the play.
Well, they were looking for a clutch play there on 4th, unable to come up with it.
How about that defense, though, huh? How about that D?
Momentum swing.
And, you know, I remember playing how much 4th downs were emphasized. You know, because, as you said, it's a momentum play. It's also a big test for you. You know, if people are going to go for it on 4th down, they believe you're not up to the challenge. You want to show them differently.
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the 3rd quarter has come to a close. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
2nd and 6. No, scratch that. 2nd and 7.
Prescott from the gun. Left side to Lamb. No gain that time on the completion, and it'll be 3rd down.
Brandon, just mark that under the category of just not successful. Trying to throw the ball, just didn't work on that one.
Completed it. No yardage. On 3rd down, it's Prescott. He'll fire this deep for Gallup, and that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
After what they faced during this game where they've given up a ton of yards downfield, there has to be a measure of revenge right there for the secondary. They've been shredded throughout the game and finally forced an incompletion.
A nice return that time, gets 12 yards back.
And out will come the offense as they take over. The Seahawks offense now, they get set to go back to work.
They've got a chance now to put this game away following that last defensive stop and punt.
Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at about the 32.
He'll set up to throw. He'll find Metcalf.
That catch good for only a couple.
Wilson's pass complete to DK Metcalf.
The goal of a wide receiver screen is get enough blockers in front to create a wall and let him pick his spot to run the football. How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield.
So 2nd and 8 here after the pass play for 2 yards on 1st down. That's going to be caught by Nick Ballore.
Wilson's pass.
It'll be a gain of 6, and all of a sudden here it's 3rd down.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect him to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Fighting through pressure. And a big loss here as he's taken down. DeMarcus Lawrence make that now 4 sacks for him in tonight's ball game. And I guess, partner, you call that a covered sack.
Oh, without a doubt, because where did he have to go with the football? I know everybody wants to get on him about, hey, get rid of the football. You had too much time in the pocket. But he's scanning the field, nowhere to go, and that allowed the pressure to ultimately get to him.
So a change of possession here on the punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Dallas offense back out onto the field. Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner. Here's a pass swung out left to his running back. 7 yards there on the first down screen play.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. A 20th carry here for Elliott. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. 4 yards the pickup, first down. Now, yes, a 2-possession game, but a good chunk of time on the clock, so they have the ability still there to run it on 2nd and short, but maybe they need to pick it up a bit.
You're right, they did pick up the first down there, but as you mentioned, they have to pick up the pace now because it's a 2-possession game. They've got to get there twice to make sure they have a chance to win.
11 yards and a Cowboy first down. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Throwing, Prescott over the middle, hauled in by Lamb. And he's going to get this down near the 20-yard line. Right back to him for 10 more and a first.
Well, every drive from here out is definitely crucial and critical. They know that they need to get at least 3 here to get it back to a 1-score game. But I can't imagine that in their huddle that they're thinking at all about getting a field goal. They want to get into the end zone and then try and get the ball back again.
Prescott looks to throw on first. They'll set up the screen to Elliott. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. A good first down call as the screen play gets him 9. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. And this one quickly to Lamb. And they corral him just a couple yards shy of the end zone. Prescott and Lamb hooking up for the Cowboy first. 1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. And he pushes forward but comes up short of the goal line as he'll get a yard down to about the 1.
It's a gain of
But they'll employ the jumbo set now on 2nd and 1. They'll try to run it in with Elliott, and he'll get in. Touchdown, Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott, his 2nd touchdown of the night. And the Cowboys draw a bit closer. A 1-yard run on first down, another one on 2nd. It might not do much for the yards per carry average, but it gets them 6 points.
And at contract time, you want to show touchdowns scored way more than you want to show yards per carry.
Now Zerline on and the extra point. And the lead is down to a field goal now. So that drive in total 8 plays. And it culminates in a touchdown run by Ezekiel Elliott. Now after the touchdown, it's Zerline. He'll kick it away. Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. And this will not be brought out. It's a touchback.
At their own 25-yard.
Seattle now ready to march onto the field. Their lead back down to 1 score after the touchdown a moment ago. First down's a must on this drive as they start out here 1st and 10. Wilson and the Seahawks take over now 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. And he'll throw right away. He lets it fly for Lockett. That's caught at the 25.
Give me some.
And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Make it a hat trick for Russell Wilson. 3 touchdown passes now. Here the Seahawks are able to stretch that lead out a bit further. Man, we didn't even get a chance to settle in for that drive. A quick strike of 75 yards, and they find the end zone.
Don't you get the sense that film study was behind this one, that they saw something that they thought they could take advantage of? The key is calling it in the right situation, knowing when it exists to go to it. They did exactly that. They've got to feel really good about what they did in advance of this game.
Just looking down at the sideline now, their defense is like, man, can you have strung that out just a few plays? Give us a break. Back out there.
Hey, man, give that water break and get on out there and play.
Jason Myers to kick off for Seattle.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away.
Now Pollard. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29.
The Cowboys take over 1st and 10.
And let's gauge our attention on Ezekiel Elliott. He's toppled the century mark already receiving the football, closing in on that on the ground, too. They've really had trouble handling him.
I think from what we've seen in this game, his success through the air has started to open things up for him on the ground, because now he's loosened up the defense, right? They've got to play just about every snap as if another receiver can get downfield on them, and he's been that receiver. Now they bring him back to the backfield. I think his yardage running the ball.
Full near midfield, and the Seahawks have recovered. A lot of talk this week about ball security. In fact, they added an extra period in practice to be more secure with the ball. It didn't work out there.
Well, sometimes you just get overexcited during the game. You may all of a sudden make your catch, see some open field, and decide you're going for it, and not realizing that danger lurks while you're doing so, and there's your end result right there.
Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense.
And they sit in a good spot, having the ball back after the fumble recovery and up 2 scores in the 4th quarter.
Oh, incomplete. A turnover would have really helped there. Almost intercepted. Instead, it's just 2nd down.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
Complete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on 3rd down.
And partner, to me, that one was all about timing. If he's there too early, it's going to be a pass interference call. If he's too late, it's a completed pass. He was Johnny on the spot on that one.
Flush to his right. He can run for it, and he will. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. The rushing numbers for Wilson maybe down from earlier in his career, but he's still a threat to go, showing it there, picking up the 1st down.
All right, partner, I'm a defender, but I've got to express my admiration there. Moving around, making it happen, and instead of worrying about protecting himself, he goes and gets the 1st down. I've got to give it to him on that one.
Normally, you don't want your guy taking shots, your quarterback, but it's winning time here in the 4th quarter. If he needs to make those plays with the legs, go ahead, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. At this stage of the game, all protections, they're off. These guys are running offense like you drive. The pedal is down, stomp down. How about that? Back-to-back completions. They are rolling.
So much for being conservative and running that football. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36.
Russell Wilson gets sacked, and he tied for the most sacks in the NFL last season with 48 in total. But Seattle likes to throw the ball deep, so that means you're going to take more time to get the ball downfield. Sometimes the offensive line can't hold up, and he ends up hitting the deck on those plays.
And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
Normally you think the tight end's going to be able to catch the football and handle that contact, but in this case, maybe a little too much target to hit. That one was timed well, incomplete.
Rolling to his right. And the tight end Olsen, right side. And he's going to have another 1st down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys 16. A real letdown defensively. That was 3rd and a bundle, but they allow the conversion.
He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on third down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
Oh, no, he lost the football. And it's picked up by the Cowboys. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Partner, that one looked like it was over. I mean, they had control, had the football, and the defense had to make a play in order to keep them in the game. That's exactly what they did.
And now that door ajar, 2-score game, so hold on here, not done in the fourth.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
The fumble on first down now. Here's second down. Following the fumble recovery, it's Wilson escaping the pressure right. And he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage as he's going to be taken down.
No doubt that's a very good play defensively right there because you've always got to be aware that he can take off and make a big play with his legs. How about the way they were able to contain him? That also tells me the coverage was excellent downfield.
Myers' kick is good. And that will stretch the lead up to 13.
47. Cowboys 34.
So as it turns out, a 2-play drive resulting in the field goal. So they settled for just the 3, but clearly right now anything helps trying to salt this one away in the fourth.
Without a doubt, obviously a touchdown probably would have been the final nail to finish this thing off, but it's still ate up time, got points. So while it's not mission accomplished, it's darn close.
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away. Now Pollard. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25.
The Cowboys take over first and 10 at their own.
And out now come the Cowboys. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only gave up the field goal? And they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive. A little more pep in their step because they didn't cost their team a touchdown. But they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
The coach will just be relieved if they recoup with a score here, right?
I think coach will be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield, punch in the end zone without turning it over.
15 yards is the pickup there, and the drive starting very nicely. First down. At this stage, this drive's got to be touchdown or bust because you need 2 of them.
And if I'm the offensive play caller, I'm not just looking at my dagger plays downfield. I'm looking at some of my specials, something that can fool them and give you a big play now.
With a sense of urgency.
No doubt.
Dak dropping this one off for Zeke. They'll contain him to just 4. Second down. Fourth quarter, every drive's so critical, and you figure may only get one more shot after this, so a touchdown's imperative on this drive.
It is, but you also have to think to yourself in play calling, don't hold anything back. Don't save it for the second touchdown. You got the first one for the second one to even matter.
Pass on target, Prescott to Cooper. And down he goes at the 49, a 3-yard pickup. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. They had the catch on second down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at third down here. Prescott yet again. And he can't come up with a pick. Nearly his second of the game. Instead, fourth down.
Sets up fourth down.
They'll run it with Elliott, and he won't get there. They stop him a few yards short of the line to gain. Ezekiel Elliott not able to get it past the marker. And it'll be a turnover on downs. So they really needed points here in a 2-score game. Could not come away with it. Rush coming, and he's taken down.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
But it's now 3rd down.
On 3rd and 1, Wilson. And he's going to be hit and taken down. Back right around the 48-yard line. Terry Poe marches in for the sack. There's that man again. It's complete. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. Pete Carroll rolled the dice, but it didn't work out. And that will force a turnover on downs. A first down throw for Prescott. Now they go screen. It's complete. And he'll lose yardage here, back at the 47. He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out that screen early on first down.
Really read it well, didn't they? Because they didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer, I think in this situation, you're throwing it in the feet of your back to make sure no one picks it up, or you throw it away, throw it over the sideline. Don't try and freelance and try and make a bigger play. There's really no one else running a pattern that should be open.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Prescott now. He's going to find Gallup here complete. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. 15 yards last play and 15 yards here this go-around. Defensively here, you've got the cushion, but back-to-back pretty big pass plays there. Bend but don't break, but are they bending too much?
I think that they are. To me, it'd be like playing basketball, and you put up a token press.
And that's going to be intercepted. Jamal Adams with it, the all-pro safety. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27.
It's just been one mistake after another on the offensive side of the ball. That's now 3 interceptions to go along with 2 fumbles for them. And if you're going to turn the ball over 5 times in a game, your chances to win have to be about 100 to 1. And it's not looking good for them here.
Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at their own 27. And right away, he'll look to throw. He finds his man, the tight end Olsen. And he is not going to go anywhere. They're going to get to him behind the line, and that is going to get us to the 2-minute warning. He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Wilson. And the Cowboys pressure gets there this time for the sack. So fresh out of the 2-minute warning, and here's another timeout taken with 1:55 remaining. Wilson and the Seahawks looking for something big following the sack. It's 3rd and long here. Here's Wilson out to his left. Now the pressure comes, and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. And now we're going to get a timeout defensively. So another stop, 1:50 left in the football game. Now here's Michael Dixon as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And now a high kick trying to pin him back. And a fair catch is called for. He will take it in to give his guys some excellent field position here. So Dak Prescott in the offense. Down by 13, a minute 44 to go. Field goals, useless at this point. They need 2 touchdowns, and they need them in short order. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. The rookie CeeDee Lamb, the intended receiver. That'll bring up 2nd down. Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. He goes to Lamb again. This time he's got it. Now the Seahawks call the 2nd of their 3 timeouts. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. Out of the gun, here's Prescott. And it's incomplete.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. To the air again, Prescott throwing middle, but it's his intended target, and it's third down.
Incomplete.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. They'll throw again. Prescott. And that will be incomplete.
That was well defended. They clamped down on every available receiver. Just got to give the win to the defense on that snap.
Encroachment, defense.
Jumping all the way from the outside, maybe getting a little early start in the corner blitz.
And the only time it makes sense to get that penalty is exactly as you described. Otherwise, he should never get that penalty.
And that's going to be intercepted. Jamal Adams with it, the all-pro safety. And he's going to get this one to the 23-yard line.
By the Seahawks. They'll take over.
Well, it wasn't always pretty, but the interception there, that means that they should get out of here with a victory.
Yeah, this is not a game that they're going to preserve for posterity on defense, but they did finish it off, didn't they? They did make the winning play to close things out. They'll take that one and head to the locker room.
After the interception, here's Wilson. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on 1st down, but he couldn't reel it in.
And that's one of those plays where it's hard to keep 2 eyes on the football when you know the contact's coming, let alone getting 2 hands around it, hugging it to your body, and absorbing the hit. Even for those big tight ends who you would think could absorb that contact.
Wilson after the play fake to Carson. And he whips that one incomplete there.
Well, so far in this drive, they've done some good work. They force incompletions on 1st and 2nd down, bring up 3rd and 10. That brings up the big question. Do they bring pressure or do they play coverage on this down?
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. They'll roll him out right. Eluding the pressure right. And he's not going to sniff the 1st down here. He stopped at the 25. The Cowboys signal for their 3rd and final timeout as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game. Now here's Michael Dixon. Fake it from deep in their own territory. A little trickeration there, but it doesn't fool this defense. And Dallas, they'll take over in terrific field position. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Having to get back in coverage and knock it free.
And that's a nice job there because you've got to play the ball, not the man when in coverage. That'll keep you away from a lot of needless penalties, and he's able to knock that one away.
Completes it right side to Corporal. And he caught it up. And the Seahawks have picked it up. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, that drive wasn't a case of wanting to put points on the board. It was needing to, having to, and they didn't get it done.
Yeah, didn't get it done, and now you look at the situation and the point differential, 2 scores. Pretty much, now he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing 2nd and a bundle. Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. And we will get a timeout with 2 ticks left.
It's 3rd down.
Back-to-back sacks have this place in a frenzy as they line up again 3rd and long now. Here's Wilson. Flushed out right. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go.
Tonight's final score.
Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feel like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. So long, everybody.